Okay, hi guys. So today we are looking at my next set of decks, I guess you could say, which is my Bauer Tarot. So as you can see here, I have a small bag. This is my adjusted copy of my Bauer, and then this is more or less my backup copy. So we're going to look at this as well. I'm actually going to do a bit of a side-by-side. So I don't use the book, so it's not in here. It is a low Scarab deck, so everybody knows what a low Scarab guidebook kind of looks like. So these are what the deck typically looks like, and oh yeah, I chopped those top borders off. Yes, I did. So we'll go kind of through probably the original first, and then I'll just give you guys a little bit of a rundown. Actually, I don't know. We'll use mine since mine is been kind of more or less modified. Venus and Virtue did a complete redo of her deck, and I liked the idea of restructuring my Bauer. Okay, I think she's done. Anyway, so as you can see, I chopped off the top borders, and I was thinking of chopping off the bottoms as well, but I'm like, I don't want this just to be a fully intuitive deck. I know Boho Tarot, Dawn Michelle had done the same thing, but I'm like, yes, I read intuitively, but at the same time, I like having the structure of how they created this deck. How they created this deck as a bonus. But I did add, as you can see on this card, the elemental symbol. I am using this kind of as like a study deck to learn my symbols. So like the Eight of Pentacles, so the Eight of Earth. But yeah, this deck is, this is the Devil, and this to me is a very interesting version of the Devil. It's definitely something that I enjoy diving into. I know this was pre-made art that wasn't made for this deck, but it makes it very interesting, at least for me, to kind of, use it as a study deck to be like, I wonder, why they chose this piece of art for this versus something else. And the Fool. I've thought about restructuring it. There was a couple cards like the Fool and the Sun card that I was like, oh, I could flip those, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't see anything but the Fool being the Fool. So I'm like, that wouldn't work. And I know a lot of people, a couple people that I've seen with reviews of this deck said they didn't like this as the death card. I actually really, really like this death card. It still very much leans into that whole transformation thing for me. And it's kind of like she's transforming from this very tiny, very kind of, to me, sad version of herself into something with much more beautiful hair and a fuller jar. And I mean, even the backdrop, it seems, like these stars here are more full, like it's leading to one side or the other. So that I always found kind of interesting. I do have to say this is probably one of my favorite cards in the deck. I really like this art for this particular card. This one still throws me. Like, I've had it in a reading, not for myself, but for a client. And I even have read a couple of the stories, and this card still just, I don't get it. So that one is a tough one for me. But yeah, like these ones this is another one that I have an issue with. Apparently this is supposed to be, at least from what I understand from his work, this is Madonna. I know she was part of, oh gosh, I know there was a Madonna in like the old legends. I don't know which one, but I know there is one. Like this, to me, this actually makes a really good 4. I like going into the thought process behind this choice. That's kind of a really fun one. The knights are really, I think they did a really good job with the knights. Another one that's kind of like, you really have to think about it in the context of the other cards around it. This is another one. The same with this one. The 5s are kind of like, you have to have context around that card to be able to understand exactly why that was the card that was drawn. This is an interesting 7 as well. As a 7, when I first saw it, I was kind of like, why? Why is that the 7 of Wands? Why? I don't read so much Rider-Waite-Smith, and I know this is very based on Rider-Waite-Smith. So at least that's how they were meaning it to be. So it made it a little more difficult for me to understand. I love this particular artwork. I think it's really beautiful. This 3 of Swords, it's very much about heartbreak, and it definitely lends itself to being about heartbreak. This Hierophant really throws me too. There's a couple cards that I'm like, why? This is a fun king, I thought. This is just such a fun card in my opinion. The Lovers, I do like this Lovers, but at the same time I'm kind of like, we could have done something older, but again, pre-made art, what are you gonna do? I love the story that these two portray. I don't so much like the story itself, but I understand why these cards were chosen for the cards that they took representation of. So I believe Venus in Virtue, whose first name I have completely forgotten, apologies, I believe she used this as the Sun card, and it was either the Sun or the, not Justice, Temperance maybe, but I think she might have used it for the Sun card. But somebody had been talking about, it was either the Sun card or like Temperance or Justice or something, and the horn waking people up, and I'm like, oh, it was Lisa Pepez that had mentioned that. I was just watching one of her videos, but she'd mentioned a horn waking people up in the, oh gosh, which card was it? It was number 20 in the Major Arcana, and I'm completely spacing out on what card that was. But yeah, that was kind of what I think of now when I see that card. This was an interesting 4. I thought I see this card and I always think of the Knight instead of the 4, but at the same time I kind of can see why it lends itself to that. This page kind of throws me off as well. Like, why is it a page? Why is this card a page? And again, we're the story of Madonna from John Bauer. So I really like the kings. I think are great, and the queens. The queens are beautiful. Next one. So this ace kind of throws me too. I always saw it more as like I don't know, maybe a 6 or something, where you're just kind of like, I always see it as more of a, what's the word I would use, like angry kind of setting, and I'm like, I know that's not how it's supposed to be. This always kind of reminds me of the Chariot versus an ace as well, but I'm like, it fits in the context, at least from what I've, the ones that I've had. I love this Empress card. I think she is beautiful. Again, this is the same couple. Reading the story, it really does make sense why this was chosen, and I think it's beautiful. And there's our Chariot card, of course. This is absolutely my favorite ace out of the entire deck, and I adore this 5 of Pentacles. This is another 6 that just completely throws me. And the World card, which I think is just absolutely beautiful. And there is the Wheel. I know Venus in Virtue had changed hers to the, oh gosh, the Magician. I love the creatures here. I think they really work for the Wheel of Fortune, and I really, really like that card. Okay, so here is Temperance. Temperance is literally all about tempering and balance, and I can understand it, even if it does, again, kind of throw me off. The Four of Cups, this always kind of seemed, the Four of Cups, again, I think it's fitting. And all right, and I think this is just a really, really beautiful tarot card. And here is the Hermit. And I love the fact that she's wearing the wreath and the candles. And I think, again, it's very well met and well matched. Another queen. I think they're beautiful. I love the fact that she's kind of staring at her own crown in this one. I really get, I haven't had this one in a reading yet, but I definitely can see where I would take this card, just intuition-wise, depending on what's surrounding it. The Three of Wands, this is another one that I really enjoy seeing, because there's so much that you can use in cards like that. This one I actually just did a reading with. I shared it, I believe, here and on my Instagram, where I was talking about how it was, I believe there was some wand energy, and like we were climbing, literally climbing the walls, or climbing the trees in this case, but still it was, again, very intuitive. I love this deck because it is very intuitive. Another page, I do like the way they set the pages up in this deck. It just, again, there's some cards that are just very, very fitting. This too, I love this too. This 8 does kind of throw me off. The book is a little more explanation, gives a little bit better explanation. It's an interesting 8, so it definitely makes it interesting to use in a reading if you get that card. I love this too. I love the road here, and like all of these people are coming to see her and she's waiting for them. I love the fact that she's being, kind of like protected on either side, or maybe she's a hostage, but I wouldn't see her as a hostage. I know Venus and Virtue had flipped this one, so it's the Hanged One instead of the Hanged Man. But I do like the fact that for this card, especially because there is 2 people, you can really get to decide which way you would want this card. And this one's really, I think, would be really fun to know, especially if you had, a female versus a male client, or a male client versus a female client, depending on how you might want to use that, especially if you took both borders off. I thought that was kind of interesting. This one also throws me. I don't understand it in the context of it being card 11. I want to say it's Justice. So it really, that one's just a tough fit for me. However, this Emperor card, I love this Emperor card. I think this actually would be my favorite night card. I love the horse and the sky. It's beautiful. This is definitely my favorite 10. I love, I've had this on a reading a couple times, and it's a really good fit. I read the story that is attached to this card, and it's a good story. And when I see this card, I always think of, you're really persevering because you want to, and you really want to reach the top. And there is actually, in the story, there is a princess waiting for somebody to reach her in the palace, and he only ends up meeting her when he's a very, very, very old man. And I'm not sure if you can see, come on, focus, you can do it. I'm not sure, it is so not going to pick it up, but I'm pretty sure he is actually got gray hair in this picture. I think he's already growing into an old man, in this artwork, which I find so very cool. So in this one, there's actually more here, and there is a small little creature like right here, like right in this area here, that I thought was pretty cool. So that's kind of something you can always, if you know what the artwork looks like before it's been kind of altered, I think that really adds an extra layer to your readings. And I love this queen. He actually tricked her, and that's, I believe, why the veil is like obscuring her face so much, because he tricked her into being his queen. And I like the depth you can get when you know the history behind, like the reason behind the way the artwork was designed. I love this king too. The Two of Cups, I think is a beautiful card. Another fun page card that you can I think you can really, really work with. There's another 10, an 8. The Strength card. Yes. I think this, I know it's on the box, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. And then the last one. All right, so that is my John Bauer deck. But yeah, I don't think I showed you guys the solid backs before I chopped them to pieces and did a hack job on the edges, as you can tell, because I needed to they were scratching up the cards, and a couple of them actually have like dents in them from other sharp edges. So that is the John Bauer deck. Thank you guys for stopping in and checking this deck out with me. And okay, bye.